This offseason, what change must this Bucks team make disappointed in the playoffs again?
Well, first of all, I think they got to get an abundance of shooters. There's no question. I mean, they show up in the regular season, but I'm talking about shooters with heart, shooters that live for postseason action. They do a lot of those things in the regular season, but come postseason time, they just don't have what it takes. Chris Middleton came back to earth after a spectacular performance in Game 4. He shoots 8 of 23 or 8 of 24 from the field last night. He was relatively ineffective when it counted most. I definitely think there needs to be a significant upgrade at the point guard spot. Eric Bledsoe is no scrub. He can play, but he's clearly not that dude come postseason time. At least he hasn't been as of yet, and that's in this point in his career. Brian Windhorst and those boys talking on Get Up this morning, the possibility of Milwaukee pursuing Chris Paul, I think would be a significant upgrade, because understand what you would have if you were lucky enough to acquire somebody like Chris Paul. You'd have a quintessential point guard who would know who to get the ball to and when, who would know how to run a basketball team, who obviously can defend, more importantly, hits perimeter shots and does not disappear or fold come postseason time. And so I look at it from that perspective, and I think that's where I would go from there, first and foremost.
This is what the Bucks have to do, and there's only one thing to do. I don't think people understand how gangster it is to win a championship in the NBA most seasons. It's almost impossible for most teams. You not only need one superstar, you need two. So when Richard Jefferson said, Giannis is really Pippen looking for his Jordan, there I said it, and we all went around and around about that. I saw you two going at it, Stephen A. and Perk, last Friday when I was having technical difficulties. No, he's not Pippen looking for his Jordan. Antetokounmpo is Shaq looking for his Kobe, because even Shaq got zip without either a prime Kobe Bryant or a prime Dwayne Wade. Shaq, one of the greatest centers who ever lived, needed one of the greatest shooting guards who ever lived in order to win a single championship. When he got it, he won 4 altogether. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had nothing, zip, until he played with Oscar Robertson, then he got 1, and then he played with Magic Johnson and he got 5. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, maybe other than Jordan along with LeBron, the next thing to the greatest player who ever lived, needed a guy just about as good as him who was a ball handler in order to win. If you're a big, the history of the NBA says, especially if you're a big, you need a dude who can go get his own shot and create for you also if you want to win a championship. I'm talking about Shaq and Kareem. Shaq and Kareem, even Wilt, later in his career, had Jerry freaking West, or he got nothing later in his career. That's how it goes. And Antetokounmpo needs a dude as good as him who's actually a wing or a guard. Now, you bring up Chris Paul. Maybe that would do it. Maybe Chris Paul's not good enough next year. We'll see. He's getting older. If it was the Chris Paul of this year, they'd have had a shot. But that, and maybe not. Maybe you even need to be better than Chris Paul. LeBron James has Anthony Davis, AD, Steph Curry. Look, they won 1 championship, and that was when LeBron, who had Kyrie and Kevin Love, both those dudes got injured, so LeBron was alone. Steph got 1 with Clay and Dre. Then they added Kevin Durant. It was Steph and KD and Clay and Dre. That's what it takes. What the Bucks have to do is take any resources they have, because Chris Middleton ain't it. He might be a third wheel for sure, but he's not going to be the second best guy. And go get the second best guy. Go get a guy just about as good as Antetokounmpo, who's a guard or a wing, and then they have a chance. If they don't do that, they will never win a championship, and then they'll lose the Greek Freak.
Stephen A. and Max, I can't believe you guys today. The craziness that you're talking. Are y'all talking about the team that dominated the regular season last year and this season? The team that have the MVP and going to have another MVP. He's going to have the back-to-back MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. They dominated the regular season. How about pointing the finger at Mike Budenholzer? Look at Mike Budenholzer last season in the postseason, up 2-0 against Toronto, and then was out-coached by Nick Nurse and lost 4 in a row to the Toronto Raptors. Now take it to this season. Eric Spoelstra coached circles around Mike Budenholzer. And here we are, we come on here this morning and we talk about roster adjustments and not holding Mike Budenholzer accountable when he have the MVP and he have another all-star and supposedly the best team in the NBA. You have a center that can stretch the floor and Brook Lopez and shoot threes, and you got guys, and you got Eric Bledsoe and all these guys, and everybody was praising about how good the roster was and how dominant this team is, and we don't hold Mike Budenholzer accountable today on First Take? Are y'all guys kidding me today? Are you kidding me? No, he's the one.
Can I ask you a question?
In these past 2 seasons, he has lost the coach. He has lost the coaching battle. He has lost the coaching
Can we ask you a question, Kendrick Perkins? May we ask you a question?
Well,
May we ask you a question?
Ask me, Stephen A.
Thank you. Here's the question. Are you advocating that Mike Budenholzer be relieved of his duties as head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks?
I'm saying he need to be held accountable just like we'll hold any other coach accountable.
I feel you on that. I feel whoa. Kendrick Perkins, you on First Take. I asked you a direct question. Do you think he should be fired or not? Yes or no?
Yeah. He's underachieved. He's dominated in the regular season, and back-to-back years, Coach Nurse outcoached him last year, and this year Eric's supposed to go circles around him. When are we going to hold him accountable?
One thing I'll say, I'll say, guys,
I'm not advocating he be fired.
Budenholzer.
I'm not advocating he be fired yet, but that's what I wanted to hear from you. So that makes sense. Your position makes sense because you're advocating to replace the head coach. I thought you were talking all of that, but you still talk about keeping it, because if you're talking about keeping it for one more year, then it don't make a difference. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.